Namaste all, this is Dr. Ramya Krishnan. Today I have come to discuss about a very crucial topic of present times regarding Ayurveda, the diffidence of Ayurveda doctors. We know that this is the main problem in Ayurveda today. Ayurveda community is diffident, fundamentally diffident. Many of you may not agree with me, but when you analyze yourself, when you ask yourself, when you look inward, perhaps many of you will understand that basically Ayurveda community is not confident to express their potential, skills, their knowledge, etc. So what I mean to say is that the communication, the responsible communication, there should be a responsible communication between a professional and a society. No matter whatever profession we are in, there should be a responsible communication between the professional and the society. So, as a part of that responsible communication, two things are coming. One, communicating the ideas, thoughts, everything what is learned in particular discipline with the public for the benefit of public. Second, application of the knowledge, what is acquired in the profession effectively for the sake of the public. So first is conveying the knowledge, second is application of the knowledge in society. So the main thing is that to convey anything for a professional, it is important that especially doctor, the word doctor emerges from the term docere, which means teach, to teach. So a doctor should be inevitably a teacher also, a very good teacher also. He should be able to effectively communicate with not only with his own patients but also with the society for the sake of betterment of the society. So for that we should be having clear-cut knowledge. We should be having very deep knowledge, very precise knowledge, very clear knowledge regarding the concepts of our science. Without knowing the concepts, it is impossible to convey them to the colleagues or to outsiders, like outside the community. When we want to impart the basics of our knowledge to society, it is really important that we should be having the precision and clarity in for us. But unfortunately, this situation is not there. When we know that we are not learning the basics of biology in +1 and +2. I mean Ayurvedic biology. We are learning biology, of course. But we are not learning Ayurvedic biology in +1 and +2. So without having any basic understanding in the basic principles of Ayurveda, we are stepping into BAMS classroom. We wanted, sometimes many of us might have wanted to become MBBS doctor, but many will be preferring to go for medicine. Medicine will be more important. Like, I want to become a doctor. It is more important than becoming an MBBS doctor, right? So to become a doctor is a dream of many. So with this dream, many are pursuing BAMS. So when they get BAMS as their option, when they enter the college, it is important that faculties should remember that it is an entirely alien subject for them. Is it not? They are not learning anything with respect to the basics of Ayurvedic biology in +1, +2 or lower classes. So it is really important to motivate them. So the very first class, in very first hour of all disciplines of first year, let it be basic principles or anatomy or physiology, should be regarding how and why Ayurveda is a science which is having lot of relevance in contemporary scenario. How and why Ayurveda is a science, and how and why Ayurveda is important for us in modern society. So this is a very crucial step which is neglected in today's Ayurveda colleges. We are not ready to convey the students whether Ayurveda is a science or whether Ayurveda is a tradition or a heritage or it is philosophy. Science and philosophy are different. So whether it is philosophy or whether it is science, this kind of clear-cut understanding regarding what is Ayurveda is to be provided in the first class of first year BAMS. And afterwards, when we start teaching the basics of Ayurvedic anatomy and physiology, obviously we are starting with Tridosha Siddhanta, Tridosha theorem, Panchamahabhuta theorem. So what is this Siddhanta? What is the difference between Siddhanta and theories? Whether Siddhanta is theory or theorem. What is the difference between theorem and theory? Okay, what is Panchamahabhuta Siddhanta? Why we are not updating our science with 6 Mahabhutas? Why we are not updating by 4 doshas? Why only 3 doshas? And what are these doshas? Whether Panchamahabhutas are currently translated as air, fire, etc. I feel ashamed. Even the so-called legends of Ayurveda are speaking like this. Vada is air, Pitta is bile. I feel ashamed. Is it the way to teach the students or teach the Ayurveda community what is dosha? So what is dosha? How it can be comprehended in the present circumstances in a human being? First of all, we should be knowing what is dosha. There should be a clear-cut definition for dosha. In science, it is there. But apart from the science, many people will say dushe didi dosha. It is not the scientific definition for dosha in Ayurveda also. But unfortunately, that is what is being taught. That is only what is being taught. So, I am not going into the scientific details. What is dosha for layman? Layman, sometimes your mother is asking you for a BMS student. What is this dosha? You should be able to convey to your parents. What is Panchamahabhuta? You should be able to convey your parents. Or one of your friends have joined MBBS. He will be asking all these primitive things you are learning. Dosha, Bhuda, what is this Bhuda? Demon? Like that he might be asking so many questions because this thing is entirely alien to them and to you also. So it is important that being a student, you should be acquiring correct knowledge regarding these fundamental concepts of Ayurveda. Understanding concepts is extremely important for pertinent application. And Ayurveda, as we know, it is a science for medicine. It's a medical science. It is a science of life which is meant to heal people. So that is why Ayurveda, even after 5,000 years, it is not incorporated under philosophy, a paper under philosophy by government. Is it not? It is not mentioned as a sub-paper in philosophy, but it is mentioned as a separate medical system by government because people are getting some benefits from this medical science. So are we meant to produce these benefits only? That is my question. No, we are not meant to produce mere benefits because benefits will be always accompanied by risk. Wherever you try to make some benefits, definitely there will be risk. So our objective, what our science recommends, is to reverse the disease and produce health. So we are to produce intended effects in intended time. Is it not? Intended effects in intended time. We are to reverse the disease, pathogenesis. That is our intended effect. We are not meant to mask, block, suppress, alter, etc. There is no reference regarding masking, blocking, etc. All these are considered as Ashuddha Chikitsa, impure treatment in Ayurveda. We are supposed to avoid, abandon impure treatment, and we have to initiate pure treatment, pure scientific treatment meant for reversal of the pathogenesis and producing health. So this is the objective of Ayurveda. So for this, there is lots and lots of things are lacking today because our knowledge is not clear. We are not even knowing what is dosha, dhadu, mala, what is madhyama yoga marga. Regarding yoga margas also, lot of confusions. 100 faculties are speaking 1,000 opinions. Regarding srotas, different opinions. So there are only opinions. There is no right way of comprehending the Shastra Arthas, the true intentions of science currently in Ayurveda. So this is because of the dangerous level of ignorance of faculties. Faculties are unable to explain to students what is dosha, dhadu, srotas, everything, the basics, Tridosha Siddhanta, how to translate Tridosha Siddhanta in a healthy and unhealthy person. And there are so many different basic principles regarding diagnostics and treatment, which are not effectively translated into modern age patients by the faculties. So faculties are doing according to their will. They, of course, these things are being learned. These things, whatever is mentioned in the text, all the concepts are intended to be taught as per the curriculum. Curriculum is teaching all this, but there is no uniformity in conveying the real intentions of these scientific verses to the students. And when we ask questions, like in BAMS, when students ask questions, faculties will tell, these are all highly complicated things. You will be learning it later. Now you just learn the definition and try to pass the exams. This is what is being told by faculties. Don't go deep into it. Just learn the definition and try to get pass in the exam. So what do the students think? Students think that when they grow up, they will be learning automatically. So they are growing up year by year. They may by heart many things. They may not by heart. Some will lose their hope also in learning because they are not able to understand anything. So they will be learning like mugging up things. They will be vomiting that in the paper, answer paper. And some will get very good scores. Some may not get. And coming to bedside, when examination comes, it's not at all clear regarding how to understand a disease in a patient, how to translate the diagnostic and treatment principles from the science into the patient, how to choose medicine. All these things are not effectively taught and trained by the faculties. So what happens is that we are learning like bed 1 Gridrasi, bed 2 Kadigraha. In my BAMS years we have studied like that. Bed 1, 3 and 6 Kadigraha, 2 Gridrasi. Most of the cases admitted will be low back pain only. And they will be continuing modern drugs for diabetes or hypertension, etc. etc. So what is this kind of training meant for? Are we meant to become doctors really? Are we supposed to be good doctors, effective for society by learning this kind of bed 1 Gridrasi, bed 3 Kadigraha like this? Never. We can never become, because most of the modern age patients will be having multiple diseases and their state and stage will be sometimes of multiple pathologies interlinked. So despite of us having a very brilliant science which is able to connect multiple pathologies and explain the interlinking mechanisms and reverse the diseases by scientific principles of our science and not really by packages of formulations and treatments. We are intended to treat patients by science and not by medicine. So despite of having this much logics, innate logics, pearls, I will call them as pearls or diamonds in our book, in our Samhidas, we are unable to use them in modern age patients. And this is the reason why we fail in responsible communication with the society. When a patient, now we know that we are in pandemics age. So people might ask us, is there anything called corona in Ayurveda? Then as it is a new disease, how we are going to diagnose and treat it? There should be an answer. Yes, we have been treating fevers for long. We know Amrita Arishta is good for fever. So we don't need time-tested medicine. Such kind of replies are given by doctors. That is absolutely wrong. Ayurveda is not time-tested medicine. Ayurveda is science-approved medicine. We should be able to explain to a layman what an infection is and how we are tackling infection and why we do not need to worry about the name corona. This thing we should be able to explain principle by principle. Okay. and we should be able to demonstrate this in patients and show the results. Live results, like we have started applying this principle. This is day 1, patient is improving hour by hour, all these parameters. Day 2, day 3, patient is recovered. Recovery can be established by onset of health features in Ayurveda and blood test results in modern science. So we have subjective, objective and science-led. The same principle when applies in another patient in identical status, we will be able to get the same results. So we are using the principles which are 5000 years old to treat and reverse dengue fever, chikungunya or COVID-19, whatever it is. But if we are able to make it possible, that is what is called updated science. So our science is getting updated by our knowledge, our deep-rooted knowledge, the effective translational knowledge of our Samhitas into modern age patients. So SBBA is developed with this objective. And current education, even though we are having a solid curriculum, we fail to provide students, we fail to provide doctors the intended level of confidence. Confidence is acquired only by wisdom, and wisdom is acquired only by proper conveying of knowledge of science. So we are unable to comprehend diseases, we are unable to understand the real pathology of diseases. All the different faculties will be treating the same clinical condition in multiple ways. For that reason, we don't have a definite answer for anything. Okay, government is telling, respected Honorable Prime Minister is telling, okay, we Ayurveda doctors, you start taking care of COVID patients. We are giving you full responsibility. Are you ready to take the responsibility? That is my question. With all the risk, are you ready to take the responsibility? We should be able to take the responsibility. That is the best opportunity that we get to prove our science. And we don't need this many days, like months or years, to prove that our potential scientificity, etc. So for that, we should be equipped with scientific knowledge and skills. Unfortunately, scientific knowledge and skills are not conveyed today. So this is the reason why when we are treating, suppose one doctor is treating a patient with diabetes, his blood sugar coming down, the patient is happy, he is reporting at the doctor, Ayurveda doctor, doctor, my blood sugar has fallen. So the doctor is telling, wow, so this is what I meant, this is how we treat, we have treatment for diabetes. Okay, fine, after 1 week, his blood sugar got raised, very high. Let it be blood sugar or BP or infection or whatever it be. Infection, suppose the patient fever got relieved. After 1 day, fever got aggravated. You are prescribing the same medicine. Fever is not subsiding. How will you understand why the fever is increased again? How will you know? So to understand, to make ourselves secure, to make ourselves confident what is happening about it is possible to understand and secure ourselves only by the concepts of Ayurveda. We should be knowing, we should be able to understand the patient and his situation by applying the principles of our science, concepts of our science, and we should be able to have transparency and predictability. So these two are applicable for us. It cannot be acquired by biostatistics. It can be acquired only by the scientific methodologies of Ayurveda. So to conclude, Ayurveda can be exposed in the intended way, not by publishing hundreds of papers in peer-reviewed journals, but only by providing scientific treatment to your patients and providing the scientific ideas and principles regarding our system, effective communication with the public. So once we start treating patients, now patients who are, once I treat diabetic patients, if he gets infection, I teach them what to do. If you get infection, if you get a fever, don't take paracetamol. You follow these and these principles in your life and get rid of fever. So that patient gets rid of fever in 2 days. And he becomes aware for the rest of the life that SBBA has effective treatment in infection. So I was treating him for diabetes. He might be out of diabetes, but he is protected from infection also, because he knows that there is nothing to worry about an infective fever, because I know what to do when I get infective fever. And if something guidance is needed, he is sure that his doctor will be able to provide the guidance. So this kind of confidence, if we are able to give to our patients, I'm sure people will be rushing for Ayurveda. All these infections, inflammatory disorders, allergy, hypertension, whatever it is, people will be rushing for Ayurveda, because we don't need many medicines to treat. We need only fragments of single medicine, as when we follow science and when we not follow medicine. And we can mostly reverse them also in the intended period by predictability. We can tell the patient, if you cooperate with me, if you follow scientific diet, you are having a great role in your recovery process, and you will be recovering fast. So we can make them, it is not imparting belief, it is imparting confidence in the patient. Patient will be sure that once he follows this, he will recover. So Ayurveda will be the mainstream medicine of India if that happens, and Western medicine will be for emergency only. Okay, we can prevent surgical emergencies, many kinds. We can prevent medical emergencies, and neighboring countries will be asking, oh, what is this? India is becoming less morbid. So what is the reason? We have to find out. So they will also inquire what the reason is, and they will be also interested in going for professional learning of Ayurvedic science. We can initiate BAMS course in foreign countries, and slowly, eventually, Ayurveda will become a recognized medical science all over the world. It's not like teaching in certificate courses. It is all fake way of propagating Ayurveda, initiating certificate courses in foreign lands, 6 months courses, 1 year courses. I feel pity for the foreigners who are taking up these courses. Ayurveda can never be learned in 1 year. What I told, no, 5.5 years, suppose perhaps after MD also people are not reaching anywhere. They cannot effectively communicate with the society. They cannot effectively treat the society in the intended scientific manner. Then how about 1 year course, certificate course? So this kind of fraud courses will terminate, and Ayurveda will be recognized as a global medical science. So this is one possibility if we are ready to work hard, if we are ready to change our current policies, because there is clear-cut evidence that our existing policies are not right. Why? Because we are not able to create confident Ayurveda practitioners in the country. Ayurveda practitioners, majority are practicing modern medicine. Many are practicing mixopathy. That is the greatest evidence to prove that the current way of going is not correct. So it is high time we change our ways. It is high time we initiate the right. Okay, for conveying this message, I just joined you. Thank you very much. Namaste.